The smell reaches them before the guards do. It drifts low across the Texas ground, thick and heavy, riding the heat like a living thing. Smoke curls through the wooden barracks, slipping through cracks, settling into fabric, hair, skin. It is not the sharp smell of burning cities, not the bitter stench of oil and ash they know too well. This smell is warm, slow, almost gentle. Inside the compound, the Japanese women pause mid-step. Thin figures wrapped in faded dresses, hands clutching small cloth bundles, the last pieces of a life left behind. Some lift their heads instinctively, others close their eyes as if afraid the scent might disappear if acknowledged. "Is something on fire?" one whispers. No one answers. For generations, they were taught this lesson without words. Cows are not food. They are labor, companions of the field. To consume them is to cross an invisible line, one that separates restraint from excess, purity from corruption. Now the line is close enough to smell. Their stomachs tighten painfully, betraying them. Hunger speaks louder than belief. It has been years since they felt full. Years of rationed rice, watery soups, careful swallowing to stretch each meal into hope. A metal lid clangs open somewhere nearby. Smoke thickens. The women do not yet know it. But this moment, this single breath,
It smells wonderful, doesn't it?
Will
Yes,
quietly
it
undo
does.
everything they thought they understood about the enemy, about survival, and about themselves. The journey begins in silence. No one cries when the trucks pull away from the coast. Tears were spent long before, used up in air raid shelters, in burned neighborhoods. In the moment, letters from home stopped coming. Now there is only the dull ache of movement, the sway of transport ships cutting through an endless gray ocean. The women sit shoulder to shoulder, knees drawn close, careful not to touch too much. Modesty survives even captivity. Salt air sticks to their skin. The smell of fuel clings to everything. Somewhere below deck, metal groans like an exhausted animal. Rumors pass in whispers. The Americans beat prisoners. They starve women on purpose. They feed you strange food to weaken your spirit. Each story tightens their chests. Keiko grips the cloth bag in her lap. Inside is a photograph of her mother standing beside a rice field that no longer exists. She presses her thumb against the creased paper, grounding herself in memory. When land finally appears, it is wrong. Too wide, too green, untouched by fire. The train carries them inland through fields that look fed, through towns that still breathe. This is not the ruined enemy they were promised. And that thought, quiet, dangerous, unsettles them more than fear ever could. The trucks stop with a hiss of brakes and a cloud of dust. Heat crashes into them as they step down, thick and unmoving. Nothing like the sharp winters they remember. The camp spreads out under a wide, merciless sky. Fences glint. Guard towers stand silent. But there are trees here, real ones, casting careless shade. Then the smell hits fully. Not smoke from ruins, not the sour burn of bombed streets. This is deeper, richer. It clings to the back of the throat and pulls hard at the stomach. Several women stop walking. One presses her sleeve to her mouth. Another sways dizzy. The scent feels intimate, almost intrusive, like something touching them
It
from the
smells
inside.
wonderful, doesn't it?
Inside the mess hall,
Yes,
metal
it
trays
does.
slide across steel counters. American voices rise and fall casually. A lid is lifted. Steam bursts upward, carrying with it thick slabs of dark meat, glistening with fat. Sauce shines under the lights. Cornbread steams softly at the edges. The women freeze. Beef. The word echoes without sound. Keiko's hands tremble as a tray is placed before her. Her body leans forward while her mind recoils. Every lesson from childhood screams warning. But hunger is louder. When the fork touches the meat, she realizes too late that nothing will ever be simple again. The meals do not stop. Day after day, the trays return heavy, warm, impossibly full. Meat appears again and again. At first, the women eat cautiously, as if abundance might be withdrawn for a single wrong move. Bites are small. Chewing is slow. Eyes flick constantly toward the guards, waiting for punishment that never comes. Their bodies begin to change before their minds allow it. Color creeps back into hollow faces. Hands shake less. At night, sleep deepens, no longer fractured by hunger's sharp pull. The women start noticing things, the sweetness hidden in the sauce, the way fat melts instantly on the tongue, the comfort that spreads outward from the stomach like quiet warmth. Shame arrives with the fullness. Letters from Japan speak of ashes and ration lines, of barley stretched thin with water. Keiko reads them under her blanket, the paper trembling in her hands. She looks at her own fingers, no longer skeletal, and feels guilt tighten her chest. How can I eat this when they cannot? Yet the next day she eats again. The guards begin to feel less like shadows. One smiles. Another brings extra rice without being asked. Kindness slips in unnoticed, eroding the sharp edges of fear. Hunger taught obedience. Fullness begins teaching something far more dangerous: truth. Kindness is harder to endure than cruelty. The women expected blows, shouting, humiliation. They prepared themselves for hatred. Instead, they are given time, space, food that keeps coming even when gratitude fades into quiet routine. This steadiness unsettles them more than violence ever could. Keiko lies awake at night listening to the distant hum of America, trucks on highways, insects in the grass, laughter carried on warm air. None of it sounds like war. Her body feels stronger now, and that frightens her. Who is she becoming? Propaganda once painted the enemy as monsters. But monsters do not bring extra rice. They do not learn to pronounce names. They do not look away respectfully when women cry at the table. Letters from home grow darker. Japan is starving. Cities collapse into dust. Keiko folds the pages carefully, as if neatness might restore order to the world. She eats dinner with those words burning inside her chest. Gratitude clashes with guilt. Survival begins to feel like betrayal. One woman whispers in the dark, barely breathing the words, "If they are not evil, then what were we fighting?" No one answers. The silence holds the truth longer than any speech could. The announcement comes without drama. Repatriation, soon. The word moves through the barracks like a held breath finally released. Some women smile. Others stare at the floor. Home now feels both longed for and unfamiliar, reshaped by everything they have endured and everything they have eaten. On the final evening, the smell returns. Barbecue smoke drifts across the camp one last time, thick and unhurried. The cooks work as they always have. No speeches, no ceremony, just food. Keiko eats slowly. She notices the way the meat pulls apart, how the warmth settles gently inside her. She does not rush. She wants to remember. Around her, the women eat in silence. When it is time to leave, Keiko bows deeply to the cook who hands her tray. He looks startled, embarrassed, then nods. Years later, back in Japan, she will return to rice and fish. Beef will remain something distant, complicated. But sometimes, when summer air carries the faint scent of smoke, her chest tightens. She remembers Texas. She remembers the moment hunger ended.
It smells wonderful, doesn't it?
Not with
Yes,
surrender,
it
but with
does.
a meal that quietly restored her to herself. And she understands at last, survival is not shameful. It is human.